Aeronautical engineering is a discipline that branches off of mechanical engineering. During your junior and senior year, you can specialize in certain distinctions in mechanical engineering, and this is just one of those very distinctions. Within aeronautical engineering, there are two categories: aeronautical engineering or aerospace engineering. Aerospace is more so concerned with the design, construction, and science behind aircraft and spacecraft, focusing on mainly spacecraft, while aeronautical engineering focuses on designing aircraft, stability, and control of aerospace vehicles, propulsion systems, and low and speed aerodynamics. There are two options that I can take with aeronautical engineering later in my future. I could work for a commercial airline and do stuff to improve that travel, or I can try and sign and get a job into the Air Force to try to make their planes and products more effective and safer for the pilots and the U.S. in general. I prefer to be an aeronautical engineer for the Air Force, but if it comes to it, I'd take whatever job that'd be available for me at that time. This picture right here describes all of the total costs of all the aircraft which are in the Army, Navy, Air Force, and some inter-service. Well, basically all in the programs list as all the ranging types of aircraft that the U.S. has in service usually. And then the second one is the total cost, which is in usually thousands, but actually the numbers are in millions. So you add the thousand numbers, and then you add a million after that, which is completely ridiculous on how much expensive it is. But I mean, it's really needed for our security of our nation. And then the next section is the number of units, so that's how many we actually have in service as we speak at this point at reports of the date, which is June 30th, 2006. That was the last time it was conducted. So yeah, basically it shows that no matter what, we're always going to need aircraft, and it's always going to cost a lot of money. So I mean, it's always going to be a needed job for someone in the world. So I mean, I thought that I'd put that myself, and I would want to pursue the Air Force and help make more effective and beneficial aircraft for the U.S. as a whole. Aeronautical engineering isn't a major for the math or physics illiterate. It involves around 4 years of calculus and physics to be called a mechanical/aeronautical engineer. If engineers' plans or equipment fails, the fault is directly placed upon their shoulders. So it is necessary that we learn the necessary formulas of math to never make a rookie mistake in the field, because lives could be on the line. A certain instance of when an engineer's plans failed was when the 9/11 attacks happened. The 9/11 attacks happened, and people love to throw around the finger of who to blame. Was it the civil engineers who failed at planning the Twin Towers, or was it the aeronautical engineers who made the plane so the plane could burst into flames at any second? Truth is, it's neither of their faults. Both companies and organizations had no intentions for a plane to be crashing into a building at such high velocity, so nothing could have prevented it if the idea had never been placed at anyone's mind frames at that time. "9/11 was an event that no one wanted to experience, but happened anyway. Terrorists thought that it would be a good idea to hijack a United States commercial plane and fly directly into the side of the Twin Towers. Definitely, when I become more experienced at what I do in my job, I want to create a safer and more effective plane so that if any travesty or plot of assault would come about, the inhabitants in the plane and the people around the area of the crash would not be harmed at all. I would never want Americans to feel the heartache that millions of families felt on that day ever again. I will do whatever it takes to make the development and safety of aircraft to exceed to a whole nother level within the upcoming decades when I become an aeronautical engineer."
This is a good one. The category tonight, top 10 cool things about being in the Air Force. Top 10 cool, great things about being in the United States Air Force, ladies and gentlemen. And here to present tonight's top 10 list, 10 airmen from the 86th Airlift Wing at Ramstein Air Base in Germany. Turn on the satellite and say hello to your men and women in uniform. We appreciate your help. The category, top 10 cool things about being in the Air Force. Here we go, number 10, Senior Airman Stephen Scott.
If I want Chinese food, I fly to China.
That's right. Number 9, Staff Sergeant Ricky Johnson.
When the G-forces pull back your face, you look and feel years younger.
Number 8, First Lieutenant Janelle McCauley.
1 weekend a year, you get to take your jet home with you.
How about that? You get to take the jet home. Number 7, Airman First Class Dennis Ray.
You're looking at a guy with 1 million frequent flyer miles.
I bet you. I bet you. Number 6, Staff Sergeant Jonathan Hodges.
At 20,000 feet, you see lots of clouds that look more like bunnies and stuff.
Wow. Bunnies and stuff. Top 10 cool things about being in the Air Force. Number 5, Staff Sergeant Tony Willis.
Always fun watching a new guy try to parallel park our C-130 Hercules.
Yes, I would think so. Number 4, Captain Michelin Connerly.
Seasickness is for losers. Air sickness is the way to go.
Yeah. Number 3, Airman First Class Melvin Harper.
Free headsets on transcontinental flights.
How about that? Senior Airman Naeem Stanley.
Whenever people ask where I've been, I can tell them the wild blue yonder.
Oh, brother. Oh, daddy. And the number 1 cool thing about being in the United States Air Force, First Lieutenant Nathan Miller.
Chicks dig planes.
Yeah.
Being an aeronautical engineer for the U.S. Air Force is my dream job. I would do anything for the country, and if it's putting my talent and creativity towards the effectiveness of aircraft, I will do so without hesitation. Ever have that dream of flying when you were a little kid? That you will be blessed with super flight by Superman or someone? Well, I never would have received that inspiration if it wasn't for Mr. Charles Moldenhauer. He was my old computer-aided design and engineering drafting teacher back in high school. He saw traits in me that I couldn't even see. He saw hidden talent and creativity that I didn't even see in myself. So one day he took me aside and told me about a competition called Michigan Industrial and Technology Education Society, MITES for short. It is a competition where all the best drafting and computer design students of Michigan will come together and compete against each other in certain projects. I signed up for 2 distinct competitions, one for my photorealistic house that I made of a living room in a program called Revit, and also I was told to draft a vice grip with a full blueprint of all the limitations and angles. Surprisingly, I walked out of the competition with a 2nd place award for my photorealistic house and 5th for my vice grip. When my name was announced in front of the whole Michigan Society, my heart just dropped. I had never thought I was going to go this far with a certain talent, and it was Moldy that told me specifically. I've never had more confidently said this to anyone else, but I honestly think you were born to be an aeronautical engineer. Your creative talent cannot go unseen. That was the final words that Moldy ever said to me, and I decided not only am I going to follow my talents, but also pursue this career in remembrance of Moldy.